Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the League of Women Voters continuing series of Know Your City. I am so delighted to have Molina Richards with me this afternoon. Molina is the executive director of the Waltham Chamber of Commerce, and I understand she has her fingers on everything that's happening on the business community in Waltham. In fact, most cities and areas have a chamber of commerce, but I would be willing to wager that many people don't know exactly what you do. So, Molina, can you tell us what the mission is of the Chamber of Commerce in general and the Waltham Chamber of Commerce in particular?
Well, thank you, Annette, for having me. I really appreciate it. You are correct that there are many chambers in the area. However, not every city and town has it. There's about 111 chambers in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Wow.
Other places don't have that many. It's regional versus town or city, but we are fortunate here. We have a really great system, and chambers in general are here to promote commercial industry. We are here to support local businesses, small, large, independent, it does not matter, nonprofit, for profit. We are here to support business owners, business entities, and basically support the city and the state with economic development. The Waltham Chamber specifically, we are here for our business community as well as our residents to make sure that we build a great economic and community development. And we work very closely with the city and state. I'm part of a group that works really closely with our municipalities, which really helps out because when our members need any guidance, I don't have the answer to everything, and I will tell you that right now, but I will try to find somebody for you that has the answers. So yeah, the chamber is relatively just a really great resource overall for anybody looking to get into business or is already established, or basically businesses looking to connect from one business to another.
How many members are there in the Waltham Chamber?
We have about 400, and it fluctuates. COVID really was hard. A lot of businesses went out. They closed, and that obviously we took a hit from that. A lot of businesses struggled to make enough money to survive in general, and so when businesses are struggling, the first thing that you usually do, even as an individual, is you cut back on your subscription membership. Your magazines, your things that you feel like it's a luxury. And I definitely think that being part of a chamber is a luxury, but it was definitely harder for us, but we've worked really hard to make sure that our members got what they needed support wise during the pandemic. So I think a lot of them are coming back this year.
Good. It's good to hear that. Now, I've lived in Waltham for several decades now, and I find it striking that we have the downtown part of Waltham, the Main, the Moody, the Prospect, and then we have everything west of 128. Do you have members among all of the businesses, or just the small ones, or mostly the big ones? What does your membership roster look like?
We absolutely have every type of membership. So we have the big biotech companies that you're referring to on the other side of Waltham. We have lots of restaurants and small businesses that we have. We have the banks. We have, we have recreation. We have every single type of business possible. We even have independents who are working out of their house that are looking to start a new business. We have startups. We have, again, the biotech companies with thousands of employees from across, the globe. So we have businesses of all sizes, and we're very, very proud of the diversity that we represent.
So what does it cost to join, and who can join?
Anybody can join. It's personally, I think every business should join. but individuals and civic leaders, I think it's important for them to also join too, because there is, there is a connection that you can make from folks from being on our website, being connected to our social media. And I think that as an individual, if you want to know more about the city and what's going on in the state, which I very much appreciate you saying that we have the pulse on, we have our hand on the pulse, but we really do try to represent everyone. And an individual membership is $175, and then it goes up from there. And we work with our members too. If they want to just try it out for a year, we'll work something out with them. And we have sponsorship opportunities that will, can get you, it could be anywhere to $15,000. So
Mhm.
175 to 15,000. Obviously, we would love the 15,000, but we love the 175ers too. So very happy with it.
What type of benefits do you have? Do you have mentoring programs or leadership development programs?
So mentoring programs, we've looked into it. Leadership development programs, we're actually in the middle of the process of working on one right now. It's not complete, but it's on our website as to be determined. That's not the right phrase, but details coming, right? So we have somebody that's willing to run with that. As far as benefit goes, in my opinion, there are so many benefits to being part of the chamber. For starters, like I mentioned, the networking opportunity, the business to business opportunity, the consumer to business opportunity, business listing on our website, our directory. And I'll get to commercials later, but we like to feature our members when we do commercials. There's a lot of cross promotion. And there you can do job postings. Right now, a lot of people are having issues with workforce development and hiring. And so you can post job postings on our website, and we would share all of the content on our social media, which we have a great following. As a member, you get you are included in our membership email blast every month, twice a month. That is free to our members, and that's a service that most other chambers would charge $100 an e-blast for. We give it to our members for free. They just need to send me the content before the 1st and the 15th of every month. We have an open rate of about 38%, which is pretty high for Constant Contact, because a lot of Constant Contact emails are, they normally go to junk. Advocacy. Do you have, if you have any issues with zoning, or you want to bring a topic up with traffic, these are all things that we support you on, and we will help find whoever the right person is for you to talk to. We also do business referrals. We do business development consulting. We do there's an endless amount of things that we do for you. And some of the things I forget about, because it's just, this is a brain dump for me, but I'm happy to answer additional questions. But in my personal opinion, I think that the chamber is very valuable in that if you needed a net, if you called me and said, Molina, I really need a dry cleaner, like I have one, I can get that for you. I need a printer, I'll get that for you. Hey, I'm having an issue. I want to get a permit for this. I don't know that permit. I don't know where you would get that from, but I will find somebody who would get that for you. That's actually a lie. We probably do know where to get a certain permit, but it's just, if I didn't know the answer, I would find somebody to give the answer.
So it sounds like you're a super connector.
That's one of, I think I'm really harsh on myself. And no matter what happens or where I go in life, like, everybody, especially as a woman, right? You question everything that you do. But one thing that I know that I'm great at is connecting, is making sure that you connect with the people that you need to. And I listen to our members. I see and hear what they want and they need, and we try to get them what they want and they need. And I think that makes our chamber a little bit different than others, is that we really do want to help our members connect with each other, because connection is such a big part of success. I truly believe that. So, yeah.
You know what they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah,
They're
most
gonna
of the time, but yes.
on a plaque behind you.
Yeah.
Um, are there, I know that you put on a number of programs. I've been to some of the social events. But can you kind of give us an overview of the types of programs you offer, not just to members, but to the community at large, and how often you are running programs?
Sure. So we have lots of networking events, and yes, we have, we do have a lot of members, and that's who we focus on. However, you do not have to be a chamber member to attend our events. That's another difference between some area chambers and us. We want the community members to come to our event because the more you know about the business professionals in your area, the more you're going to spend your money here in Waltham, right? But we have, so every event that I have on our website, everybody's allowed to come. But we have our big annual events like the annual business meeting, which we had just a few weeks ago, and we had a wonderful guest speaker, Dave McGillivray, the director of the Boston Marathon there. And I'm talking about such an engaging speaker. And normally people have to pay a significant amount of money to hear from him. And they didn't have to do that with our chamber. Yes, they had to pay some because there was lunch and stuff, but he was so great, and it was just, we're very lucky. We also have our women in business event 5 times a year. Our last women in business speaker was Vanessa Welch. She's the Boston 25 news anchor, and she was also remarkable. In June, we have the mayor. She does sort of like a tour of what's going on in the city, and it's really wonderful. Every year it's different because there's so many different developments that are happening in the city. So we have her every June. We also have our golf tournament. We have a annual luncheon, which we move around now. It's been at the Mighty Scroll for the last 2 years, and we're looking for someplace else to have it this year for the next 2 years. Same with our holiday networking event. We had it the last 2 years at Craft Food Halls, and this year we're going to have it at Tempo, the back bar. We have business after hours, which I have one coming up on Thursday, and would love to have people there. It's at Grand Banks Building and Supplies. They're a company out in Gloucester that came to Waltham because they have so many vendors that are in the Waltham area, and it's going to be catered by one of our members, Brew Lunday, and we're really excited about it. So everybody can come. It will be wonderful. And it's, if you're looking to design a new kitchen, you definitely want to go check this place out. It's really, really neat. It's on Main Street, 1484 Main Street, and we would love for everybody to come. We have multi-chamber events. We have multi-chamber events multiple times a year. I'm part of a group called ACE, and during the pandemic, I was part of the leadership group there. I had to take a step back because after everything calmed down, I'm like, okay, I need a minute. But so we've had multiple multi-chamber events. Our last one was just a few weeks ago at Lord Hobo Brewery in Woburn, and there was over 200 people there, and the connection was great, and people were so happy to be there. And we've actually hosted a couple in Waltham. We hosted one in October at the Copper House Tavern. And every year we moved around, but our next one I think is in Saugus, and it's at the Comedy Club, and that last year was such a great time. The mayor showed up. We had Yolanda and David Joseph and lots of other people come to that. But I also work very closely with Downtown Waltham Partnership. So I am on their board, and they have two incredible events coming up. I'm sure almost the entire city of Waltham knows about it, but Steampunk Festival is coming up on Mother's Day weekend on May 13th. And then Riverfest is June 16th and 17th. And yes, I would love for everybody to go support Downtown Waltham. It's going to be great. We have Tina Schindler, who is part of Phantom Gourmet, the VP of Director and Business Development for Phantom Gourmet, and she's on our board now, and we absolutely love her. Phantom Gourmet is coming here for the third year in a row in September. We're very, very, very excited about that. So, and we help promote all of these events. Yep. I'm
Okay.
sure there's more.
Frankly, I'm exhausted listening to
Yeah.
them. I want to go to all of them.
I also speak very quick, like I'm very fast, so I apologize. But yes, I can slow down if you'd like me to. I'm very enthusiastic about my job and what I do. I love it, and I'm excited about it. And so yeah, it comes off very, very quick.
Does the chamber have committees for the members to join?
If they would like, they can email me. We have, like I said, I just mentioned all of the events that we have, and we can always use volunteers. Always. Yes, and so we would love to have volunteers.
So there's no formal committee structure?
Not right now. I know that when John was here, there was an advisory committee. And we just have not put that into place for, since I got here, because the pandemic hit, and then we just half of our advisors retired and left and whatever else happened. So yeah.
Now, I have a question from one of our attendees. How did the chamber react to the plan to close parts of Moody Street starting on May 25th?
So this is going to be a controversial, I mean, it's a controversial topic, right? But so we are working on something that hopefully will be beneficial to all. The chamber is in support of everything that works out for our businesses. And again, we have a lot of businesses on Moody Street.
Of course.
A lot of restaurants that we support, and the closure of Moody Street, which I like to call the opening of Moody Street Marketplace. When you say closing of Moody Street, it's very confusing. Is it the road closing, or is it closing for? So I'm gonna refer to it from here on out to Moody Street Marketplace. Okay. So Moody Street Marketplace is a wonderful idea for the restaurants and some of the businesses. What the challenge is that there's a lot of businesses, I shouldn't say a lot, but the hair salons, nail salons, and there's a few other that really have a hard time with the closure because of the parking and the in their, the driving by and things like that. My suggestion was for salons and restaurants to work together, right? There's always ways that we can work together to cross promote. And so I had mentioned maybe if a salon was having some issues, they could do something with the restaurants, like let's do a sip and style. So you get your haircut and then you get a discount to a place to go get a beverage. And there's always solutions to that. But we support what is best for economic development. And studies have shown that marketplaces, right, when they're open, such as Church Street in Burlington, the North End, excuse me just a second. I have kids and they're coming downstairs. Buddy, you have to go upstairs, buddy. Daddy had one job. Daddy had one job to keep them upstairs. So my apologies. And now the dog's here too. So hi Dixon, say hi. He's being shy right now.
Zoom.
What was that?
The wonders of Zoom. At least
yes, I know.
You don't have cat ears.
So it has shown, studies have shown that actually the opening of a walkable downtown and a marketplace is actually really great for the whole city and town economy, because people are actually walking down once they're waiting for restaurants. If they have to wait, they actually walk downtown and remember stores that they he's so distracting. I'm so sorry. Stores that they forgot existed. Or for instance, Game Underground, right? You're waiting for food. You walk up now and you're like, I had no idea that there was an arcade here. I had no idea that there was, an ice cream store here. I had no idea that this restaurant was here, or this restaurant. Next time we should come and check out this restaurant. And it's just like the reason why Phantom Gourmet is so great for the city. It's great for economic development. People are going to remember what downtown Moody Street is all about. Not to mention that it's really important, when we first opened Marketplace, other cities and towns were looking at Waltham as the example. So this year, before this last traffic commission, we had other cities and towns calling to say, what is Waltham going to do? We want to know what Waltham's going to do so we can follow suit. And it's important for us to support independent businesses no matter what. And I think that, because Moody Street has a lot of restaurants, that it benefits the majority of our businesses there. And I recognize that answer is probably going to infuriate some, and I apologize, but I think that it's really great for economic development for the city.
Thank you. Let's step back a second. Tell us about you. What did you do before you came to the chamber?
So is it because you just saw my kid completely? So
We tend to focus just on the business part of it.
mhm.
And when I interviewed one of the police officers, he said, be sure to ask about me. And because I want to tell everybody, I've lived in Waltham and I went to Waltham schools and my kids are go to the Waltham schools.
Was this Jeff Rodley?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually interviewed him too, so I know. Yeah, that's so funny. So that is not the first time that this particular child has come into a Zoom call, by the way, except the first, like, I'm not as mortified now because I think by this point, most people who have seen me know that I have twins, which I'll get to. But the first time it was so embarrassing. I was on a call with the Massachusetts Office of Business and Development, and we had 200 people on the call, state representatives. The mayor was about to speak. It was our first webinar during COVID, and we were talking about, where do we go from here with state representatives on. And all I needed was 5 minutes so that no one could interrupt me. I mentioned it to my father and my husband, and I said, oh my gosh, like, just make sure that no one comes in. Of course, he walks in, and I'm just mortified. I'm mortified. And then my dad comes in, not discreet at all, and like pulls my child out of the and it was so embarrassing. And then come to find out, what was more embarrassing was one of my colleagues goes, oh, it was so funny when your husband came in and got your son. I was like, that was my dad.
I guess
So
I guess we're allowed to be human during working
yeah.
hours sometimes.
So before the Waltham Chamber, I was actually at the Lexington Chamber. I was there for about 4.5 years. I've actually moved up and down the East Coast. I've done everything from business consultant to sorry. Can you go ask Daddy? Buddy, I'm on the phone. Go, go, go. Yes, go, go. I'm so sorry. So I don't know what he just asked me, but I was like, yes, just go. Um, so I was in Lexington for 4.5 years. I grew up in Lexington. I was born and raised there. I do not live there anymore. My husband and I were the first and only people to get married on the Battle Green up until last year or 2 years ago. Somebody else got married there. So, yep. And I have twin boys. They're 6, named Mason and Dixon. My husband's from the South. I'm from the North. Instead of dividing, we brought it together. I'm first generation Cambodian. My parents came here from a third world country and have done the best that they could to bring me to raise me to be who I am today, and I'm grateful for their sacrifices. I am fluent in Cambodian, English, and sarcasm, so sometimes you can hear me and I very sarcastic. Yeah, so I'm here. I love this area. I love my job. My parents, they had a business while I was growing up, and so I think I was always in love with the idea of businesses and running businesses. I am very proud of how hard I've worked to get to where I am.
Have another
So,
question.
sure.
Would the chamber have an interest in supporting a performing arts center, one that's fully equipped and functional for all the arts, theater, music groups that are great attractions for the city?
When it comes to support, we are happy to support every type of business, and absolutely we would support the arts. If it's a monetary value support, though, that is a little challenging because we are a nonprofit. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, we are a 501(c)(6), and we are, you can get tax deduction for businesses, but it's not a charitable deduction. And we are not actually funded by the city or the state. So we can get grants, but we don't actually get paid through the city. So everything that we raise is on our own through membership and through events.
Okay, so you're an independent
Yep.
nonprofit, but not
Yes.
charitable organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually would love to talk to you about some grants that because one thing that you had specifically asked is if we provide grants to our members into the community. And that's something that I'm really proud of. So we there's a couple of things, but in the very beginning of the pandemic, probably, I realized, oh my gosh, these restaurants, they're gonna shut down. There's nothing we can do for the restaurants. They're going to shut down. And they did. They closed for a long time. So by the end of towards middle of 2020, when things are starting to open up, we decided to create what's called a waiters COVID relief fund. And we knew that owners were getting grants, right? They're getting grants to pay for supplies or do, keep their business afloat. But the servers are losing shifts, they're losing money, they're losing all sorts of wages. So we decided to put out a virtual tip jar, and we were able to raise about $12,000 from that. And we were able to give back to the owners and say, give this to owners had to fill out an application. And then we showed up to several businesses, including Lizzie's, which I'm going to mention them because they were so excited. There were other businesses that we gave a check to, several checks to, and they gave it to their members. But Lizzie's had their entire staff there because she broke it up, the grant to everybody, and they were all so excited. And so, I think some of them were $50, some of them were 100. She like allocated it towards the longevity and stuff. And I mean, people were so excited to get the $50, $100, a couple hundred. And they had their whole group there and they were singing and dancing and just it was so much fun. And we love to be able to do that to make people, to just spark a little bit of joy. And that was great. Another thing is we, the chamber, applied for a grant from the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. It was an opportunity came up and I thought, how great would it be if we gave visual content to our members? So we received a grant for $65,000 and we were able to provide 30 local businesses with professionally made commercials that they could air on TV, they could air on their website or anything else, and or any other social media platform. And it was just a gift that we were able to give our members worth $3,000 each. We also were able to create two Visit Waltham videos. One was Wander into Waltham, and that aired during the summer. And another one was a holiday commercial saying, come to Waltham, shop in Waltham for your holidays, restaurants, gift certificates, everything else. And those two together were aired and seen over 64,000 times.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, it's pretty big deal. It was on, people are coming up to me and saying, hey, I saw your commercial while I was watching Yellowstone, or I was watching Hallmark, and I can't believe you marketed in Hallmark. I'm like, why not? Everybody's watching Christmas movies on Hallmark. Of course I would market it. So, and we had local, we obviously featured our local businesses and we had some local favorites that were starring in there, and that it was really fun. It was really fun. So.
If you could change anything about your job or the chamber, what would it be?
Couple things actually. One is it would definitely I think it would be a lot easier if there was more personnels in the chamber because it would give me the opportunity to focus specifically on certain topics, certain issues, certain members, certain things that really are hot pressing versus everything. Right. So right now, like I mentioned to you, all of the benefits that we have, all the events that we have going on, it's Peggy who is wonderful and myself. Which by the way, tomorrow is Administration Professional Day. So if you have an administrator, please show them some love. But yeah, and so it would be nice if there was more people that could help in that sense. And then it's also really challenging for me still because John was here for 20 years. And I got here and it was like a new person here who it just, I'm again very energetic and I think that's a little bit much sometimes. and I've made a lot of changes. And the one thing that I wished, which I think a lot of people are now really receptive to it, but for a while it was people aren't ready for change. People aren't ready for big changes. And so from John to me, that was a big change. And then John he had really great connections with people for a long time, and he sat on a lot of boards. And I think that because of that, people expect for the chamber to be on every single board. And I can't do that. I really can't do that. And so, but it's no slight to any organization. I will absolutely help everybody and anybody out, but it's just a little bit challenging because it's like you have to carry on what's been successful in the past, but you also have to find your own footing. And stepping in the shoe of somebody for 20 years is really hard, but John has been an amazing mentor to me, and I'm really proud to have a great working relationship with him.
And a note, somebody, Karen, said, no, let people know who John was, and he was your predecessor, and he retired.
Yep. So John Peacock is my predecessor. He was here for 20 years, and he made a huge imprint on the city of Waltham. He grew up in Waltham, played baseball for Waltham High School, has a relationship with nearly everybody in the city, and he was actually in the office yesterday. Like, we still have a very close relationship. I'm not one of those people who, it's my chamber now. I'm going to do what I want. No, I'm one of those people that will take any and every single ounce of help that somebody's willing to give. And the knowledge that John has is absolutely, just, I can't find the word for it, but you can't find anybody else who's got that knowledge, who knows the people. Who I'm having a blank because my kid just walked back down. But no, I'm very happy that he and I work very well together. Yep.
He's a gem, but he also had 20 years to acquire that information.
20 years, yeah.
Getting there.
And I just realized the other day that I'm now 8 years into chamber executive directorship, which I never, because I was in Lexington for 4.5 years, and I've been here for 3.5, almost 4 years. So I'm like, I guess I'm not a new person anymore when it comes to chambers. So yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been absolutely delightful. And personally, I love it when the kids or the cats or the dogs get involved a bit. It is the Zoom era, if you will.
Yeah.
But
trust me, it breaks it up a lot more for folks that are watching, but for the person who's being interviewed, it's mortifying.
Do you have any final words for us? Something you want us to take away from this evening?
Definitely check out your local chamber, whether you're in Waltham or anywhere else. That's important. Support local businesses, very important. And this is really funny because this is something I've always said. And then our last Women in Business, our speaker actually said this, and I was in shock. I was like, that's what I always say. But I ask that people respect others at all times, right? No matter what you're going through, no matter what somebody else is going to, respect others, because we're all going through something. And so the thing that I tell people is respond and don't react. Because if something happens, like, you're not happy about the Moody Street closure or Moody Street Marketplace, right? First thing to do is not to like scream and shout and tell everybody that it's so and so's fault and whatever, but just think about it. Think about why it might be important. Think about why it's bothering you. Think about, who it's going to help, and really then respond the way you feel appropriate. But a reaction is only going to be hurtful. So.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much. I want to thank our audience as well. I will let you know when we have this available as a video and up on YouTube. And
okay.
Again,
do you have any other questions? Anybody?
Believe me, they're not shy, and they and I think I have one comment. Should we mention that the league is a member of the chamber?
Yes, the league is a member. You've been great members. Many come to our programs, which I appreciate. And if you haven't seen Waltham Watches, that's something I want to mention too. Kelly Hill, who is also from Waltham, Kelly and I also do a show on WCAC called Waltham Watches, and we interview new members. So there's lots of new members that are businesses that are popping up in Waltham all the time. And so we interview them and we give you a taste of what they're about, what the business is about, who's running it, and basically who's in your backyard, right? So it's also knowing your city. It's you get to know these businesses a little bit more intimately, and it's really great. So
Again, I thank you very much. When I say goodnight and I hit the button, everybody disappears, so don't be
Ugh.
shocked. And
thank you for this opportunity, Annette.
you're quite welcome. Good night.
Have a wonderful night.
You too now. Good night, everybody.